For 5 years straight, my birthday was ignored. No call, no gift. Then I saw my sister's Instagram. A brand new car from mom and dad. I went no contact. 2 days later, mom came begging at my door. I'm Jack and I'm 28 now. My story really begins on my birthday last year, though the truth is it stretches back 5 long years. 5 years of birthdays that came and went without a single acknowledgement. 5 years of realizing I was the forgotten son, the one who didn't seem to matter much. For half a decade, I watched my younger brother, Ryan, get everything he could ever want handed to him, while I got what you might call emotional leftovers. To really understand, let me paint a picture of my family. My parents, Carol and Dennis Porter, are both successful real estate agents in our nice suburban town. They make solid money, drive shiny cars, and live in a spotless 4-bedroom house with a perfectly trimmed lawn that probably gets more attention than I ever did. Ryan, who's 24, still lives at home in the bedroom he grew up in, though they remodeled it into what's practically a full-blown studio apartment with its own separate entrance. Me? I moved out the day I turned 18 and have been on my own ever since. Ryan's always been the golden boy. He was the star quarterback, the prom king, the one who could screw up and still get praised for trying. My parents paid his way through college while he changed majors like he was changing socks 4 times in total, and somehow still took 6 years to get a communications degree. Then he moved right back home because, in his words, he needed space to figure things out. Meanwhile, I was working 2 jobs while grinding through community college, paying every tuition bill myself, and finished my accounting degree at 21. The birthday thing started the year I turned 23. That was the first time they completely forgot. No card, no call, nothing. When I reached out the next day, hurt and confused, my mom just sighed and said, "Oh honey, I'm so sorry. We've been swamped with Ryan's job applications." Ryan had been searching for work for 3 months, and somehow that consumed all their mental energy. The next few years went the same way, 24, 25, 26, all forgotten like clockwork. Each time I told myself they didn't mean it, that life got busy, that maybe next year would be different. I made excuses because admitting the truth that I didn't matter hurt too much. Then came this past year, my 28th birthday on October 15th, and things felt different. I just moved into a new apartment, landed a great job at a respected accounting firm downtown, and honestly, life was finally going my way. I figured maybe, just maybe, they'd finally remember me this time. I even dropped hints during our family dinner in September, saying casually, "My birthday's coming up next month," while passing the mashed potatoes. My mom barely glanced up from chatting with Ryan about some social media gossip and muttered, "That's nice, dear." When October 15th rolled around, a Tuesday, I woke up early, got ready for work and checked my phone. Nothing. No texts, no calls, no Facebook notifications. I told myself maybe they'd call after work, but the day ended in silence. Wednesday came, then Thursday, still nothing. By Friday, I wasn't even surprised anymore, just hollow. Saturday night, I curled up on my couch with Chinese takeout and a bottle of wine, trying to shake off the sadness, when I made the mistake of opening Instagram. I was scrolling through random posts, vacation pics, memes, dinners out, when I saw it. Ryan's story. The first slide showed a brand new white BMW in my parents' driveway, a giant red bow on the hood. The next showed Ryan grinning ear to ear, holding the keys, captioned, "Surprise! Thanks Mom and Dad. Best parents ever." I stared at my phone, replaying the video again and again until it sunk in. They'd bought him a brand new BMW, easily 40 grand, while my birthday had passed completely unnoticed for the 5th straight year. I clicked over to Ryan's profile and saw more photos. Him posing with the car, my parents standing beside him, all 3 smiling like the picture-perfect family. The timestamp said it was all posted just hours earlier. In the comments, relatives were gushing. My Aunt Diane had written, "Carol and Dennis, you two are such wonderful parents. Ryan is so blessed." The words made my chest tighten. I set the phone down and just sat there, staring at nothing while my food went cold. All 5 years of pain came crashing down at once. 5 years of invisibility, of realizing that it was never about being busy or forgetful, it was about priorities. And I wasn't one of them. The anger that followed wasn't fiery or loud. It was sharp and steady, the kind that freezes your heart instead of burns it. I was done. Completely done. I picked up my phone, opened the family group chat, and typed out message after message before finally settling on one that said it all. Congrats to Ryan on the new car. After 5 years of forgotten birthdays, your Instagram post made your priorities pretty clear. I'm done pretending this is a family that cares about me. Don't contact me again. I hit send, then blocked every one of them: numbers, social media, even email. I even blocked them on Venmo since Ryan had asked me for gas money a few months back. And for the first time in my life, I protected my peace. No long letters, no emotional breakdowns, no trying to make them see how much they'd hurt me. Just silence. And the silence was freeing. That Sunday and Monday felt like breathing fresh air for the first time. I went to work, hit the gym, cooked dinner, watched Netflix, and just enjoyed not waiting for anyone to care. No guilt, no drama, no expectations, it was pure peace. Tuesday afternoon, while I was working from home, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I glanced through the peephole and froze. Standing there was my mother, and she looked awful. Her usually flawless hair was a tangled mess, her makeup streaked, eyes red from crying. I actually considered not answering. I really did. But curiosity got the better of me, and honestly, I wanted to hear whatever excuse she'd come up with this time. I opened the door but didn't invite her inside. "What do you want, Carol?" I asked flatly. "Jack, honey, please, we need to talk. You can't just cut us off like this. We're your family." I gave a dry laugh. Family? Funny word. Family remembers birthdays. Family treats their kids the same. Family doesn't need an Instagram post to remind them their other son exists. She started crying harder. "You don't understand," she sobbed. "Ryan needed that car. His old one broke down and he has interviews and—" "Stop," I cut in, raising a hand. "Ryan needed a car, so you bought him a brand new BMW worth at least 50 grand? Couldn't you have helped him buy a decent used one for a fraction of that? Maybe co-signed a loan?" But no, it had to be a luxury car with a big red bow. "We wanted to surprise him," she stammered. "When's my birthday, Carol?" I asked. Her face went blank. "What? My birthday? When is it?" The silence between us stretched painfully long. She opened her mouth, shut it, fumbled for words, and panic flickered across her face. "You don't even know," I said quietly. "Your own son's birthday and you have no clue. It was October 15th, 5 days ago. The 5th one you've completely ignored." "Oh, Jack, I'm so sorry. We've been so busy with work and with Ryan." "There it is again," I interrupted. "Ryan. It's always about Ryan. His job search, his car, his needs. Tell me, do you even know what I do for a living? Where I live? Anything about my life that doesn't involve him?" Her tears came faster. "Of course I do. You're an accountant and you live in that apartment." "I'm a senior financial analyst at Morrison & Associates," I said sharply. "I got promoted 8 months ago. Moved to a new apartment in September. Been dating someone for 2 months. Got a raise that puts me in a higher tax bracket than Ryan's ever seen. But you wouldn't know that because you've never asked." "Jack, please," she begged. "You're our son too." "No," I said. "Not really. I'm the trial run. Ryan's the real deal, the one you actually care about. And I'm done pretending otherwise." She reached out, trying to grab my arm. "You can't mean that. We love you." I stepped back out of reach. "You want to know what love looks like? Love means remembering important days. It means treating your kids equally. It means calling just to ask how I'm doing, not only when it's about Ryan. That's love. We can fix this," she pleaded. "We'll make it right. We'll buy you a car too. I don't want guilt gifts, Carol. I don't want your panic-driven generosity. I just want you to leave." "Jack, please." "Now," I said firmly. She stood there, sobbing, then finally turned and walked back to her car. I watched her drive away before closing and locking the door. That night, I temporarily unblocked them to see if they'd reach out. And they did. Dozens of messages. Texts from Dad, voicemails from Ryan, missed calls from Mom. All variations of the same tired lines. I was overreacting, they were sorry. Family is everything, I was breaking their hearts. But the one that hit hardest was Ryan's final text. "You're being selfish and dramatic. Mom and Dad do so much for us. You're just jealous because they helped me. Grow up." Jealous. He really thought I was jealous of a car. He missed the point completely, just like I knew he would. It was never about the car, it was about 5 years of being invisible. 5 years of watching him get it all while I got nothing. I blocked them again, this time for good. The next few weeks felt strange but peaceful. I buried myself in work, spent time with friends who actually remembered my birthday, and started therapy to untangle the mess of emotions that came with cutting off your own family. My therapist, Dr. Reynolds, told me something that stuck. You've been in a relationship with people who couldn't meet your basic emotional needs, she said one afternoon. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It's how you protect yourself. And she was right. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for disappointment. I wasn't checking my phone, hoping for some scrap of attention from people who'd proven I wasn't a priority. I was free. But freedom came with its own waves of pain. About 3 weeks later, I had what Dr. Reynolds called a grief wave. I was at Target, of all places, picking up detergent when I saw a mother shopping with her 2 grown sons. They were laughing, joking, walking arm in arm, and something inside me cracked. The longing hit so hard I had to abandon my cart and sit in my car for 20 minutes, crying like a kid. That's when the doubts started creeping in. Maybe I'd gone too far. Maybe I should have tried harder. Maybe I'd made a huge mistake. I called Dr. Reynolds for an emergency session that same day. She asked gently, "Tell me about the last time you felt truly loved by your parents, not tolerated or managed but loved." I sat there for 10 full minutes trying to come up with an answer. 10 minutes of silence in that office felt endless. Finally, I said quietly, "I can't remember." "And that right there tells you everything you need to know," Dr. Reynolds said softly. "You're not mourning the relationship you had with them, Jack. You're mourning the one you wish you'd had." She was absolutely right. I wasn't grieving my actual parents, I was grieving the fantasy version of them, the ones who cared, who noticed, who showed up. Not the ones I really had. Around that time, I started paying attention to the people in my life who did show up. My best friend Mark had once thrown me a surprise birthday dinner with all our college buddies 2 years ago. My coworker Ben always asked about my weekend plans and actually remembered the details later. Even my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, who barely knew me, had baked cookies when I moved in and waved every time she saw me. These people who owed me nothing showed more care and kindness than my own family ever did. It was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. Work became my anchor during that period. Things at Morrison and Associates were busy, and I volunteered for extra projects just to keep my mind occupied. One Friday afternoon, my boss, Elaine, called me into her office. "Jack, your work has always been great, but lately it's been exceptional. Is everything okay at home?" Somehow, her tone, genuine and non-judgmental, opened me up, and before I knew it, I told her everything. When I finished, she leaned back and said something that stuck with me. "Some people spend so much energy trying to fix broken relationships that they forget to nurture the healthy ones. It sounds like you're finally investing in yourself." She nailed it. I'd spent years chasing crumbs of affection from people who'd never fed my soul, while overlooking those who actually cared. Around this same time, I started seeing someone new. I met Claire through a mutual friend at a Halloween party about 6 weeks after cutting ties with my family. She was dressed as a pirate, I was in a half-hearted vampire costume, and she made me laugh within minutes. What struck me most about Claire wasn't just that she was kind and funny, it was that she was present. She asked questions about my work and remembered the answers. She recalled little stories I told her and followed up later like they mattered. On our third date, she surprised me with tickets to a stand-up show because I'd mentioned in passing that I loved comedy. "How do you remember that?" I asked, genuinely surprised. She looked at me confused. "Because you told me. Why wouldn't I remember?" It was such a simple exchange, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. Claire remembered because she cared. My family forgot because they never did. As our relationship deepened, she noticed things about me I'd never even realized. "You always seem shocked when people remember details about you," she said one evening as we cooked dinner together. "Like it's some kind of miracle that anyone's paying attention." She wasn't wrong. Growing up, I'd been conditioned to accept neglect as normal, to feel grateful for the smallest acknowledgement, to believe that love had to be earned through perfection. Being with someone who gave affection freely felt almost alien at first. Claire helped me see how my upbringing shaped my habits. I had this instinct to overgive, to never ask for help, to always be the one checking in. Deep down, I thought love was something you earned through constant effort. One night, after I apologized for being too tired to hang out, she stopped me mid-sentence. You know you don't have to earn my love, right? You can just be. That one sentence rewired something in me. Meanwhile, the attempts from my family hadn't completely stopped. My dad tried calling from different numbers. Ryan made fake social media accounts to follow me. And my mom, God, she even started sending letters to my office. That crossed a line. It wasn't just invasive, it was humiliating. My coworkers started asking questions, and I had to awkwardly explain that my family wouldn't stop contacting me. Elaine was understanding but concerned. This level of persistence after you've clearly stated boundaries is alarming, she said gently. Have you thought about legal steps? I spoke with a lawyer who told me that while their behavior was definitely inappropriate, it didn't yet qualify as harassment serious enough for a restraining order. But she did help me draft a cease and desist letter. It was short and to the point. This is formal notice that I do not wish to receive any form of contact from any member of the Porter family. This includes calls, texts, emails, letters, gifts, social media interactions, or messages through third parties. Any further contact will be considered harassment and may result in legal action. After those certified letters were delivered, things went quiet. Completely quiet. For a while that silence was almost worse. At least before, their constant attempts reminded me that I still crossed their minds. The silence made me wonder if they'd finally let go, or just stopped caring altogether. Dr. Reynolds helped me sort through that mix of relief and sadness. You wanted them to respect your boundaries, she reminded me. And now they are. This is what you asked for. I know, I said, staring at the floor. But part of me wishes they'd fought harder, realized what they were losing, maybe changed. She nodded gently. And what would that change look like to you? I thought for a long moment. I guess. I wanted them to admit they hurt me, to genuinely apologize, to finally understand what they did. And if they did that now, would it really change anything? Dr. Reynolds asked gently. That question hit me hard. Would a heartfelt apology really undo 27 years of damage? Could I ever truly trust that they changed? Or would I just be waiting for them to slip back into the same old patterns? Honestly, I didn't know. But I also realized it didn't matter, because they'd shown no trace of genuine reflection or remorse. The holidays made everything harder. Thanksgiving and Christmas had always been big family productions at my parents' house. Even though those gatherings usually left me feeling unseen and unwanted, they were still familiar. Their absence that year left a hollow kind of silence. Claire's family, though, invited me to both holidays, and they were incredible. Her mom, Susan, went out of her way to make me feel like part of the family. Her sister, Emily, treated me like a brother, and her dad, Frank, was warm, funny, and genuinely interested in my work. Still, even surrounded by kindness, I sometimes felt like an outsider. When Susan hugged me goodbye and said, "Love you, sweetheart," a small part of me wondered if I really deserved that kind of unconditional affection. When they'd share old family stories and laugh until tears rolled down their faces, I felt both grateful to be included and quietly heartbroken that I'd never had anything like that. You seem kind of quiet, Claire said as we drove home on Christmas night. I'm happy, I told her. And I was, but it was complicated. Your family's amazing. They make me feel loved, but it also reminds me of what I missed out on growing up. She squeezed my hand. You don't have to explain, she said softly. You can be grateful and sad at the same time. That was one of the things I loved about her. She didn't try to fix my feelings or tell me to move on. She just let them exist. When New Year's Eve rolled around, I faced a new kind of ache. Claire and I were at a party with friends, and when midnight hit, everyone started calling or texting their families. I watched her call her parents, saw friends laughing with their siblings, and felt that familiar sting of loneliness settle in. Want to step outside for a minute? She asked, noticing the look on my face. We stood out on the balcony, city lights flickering below. I don't miss them, I said quietly. But I miss having them to miss, if that makes sense. Claire nodded. You miss the idea of having a family to call on New Year's Eve. Exactly, I said. I don't actually want to talk to them. I just wish I had the kind of parents who'd want me to call. She smiled softly. You will, she said. Maybe not the ones you were born with, but you'll build your own family. We'll build it together. That was the moment I knew I wanted to marry her. About a month after that confrontation with my mom, I ran into my Aunt Diane at the grocery store. The second she saw me, her face shifted from surprise to discomfort, always a good sign that gossip had been circulating. "Jack, sweetheart, how have you been?" she asked, her tone forced. "I'm great, Diane," I said evenly. "How about you?" "I'm fine. I heard about everything that happened with your parents. Your mom called me, she's really upset." I kept scanning my groceries, uninterested. "I'm sure she is. Don't you think you've been a little harsh? They made a mistake, but they're still your parents." I looked her straight in the eye. "Diane, when's my birthday?" She blinked. I think it's in October." "October 15th, I said. "Has been for 28 years. Funny thing, you managed to comment on Ryan's car post, congratulating my parents for buying him a BMW, but you've never once acknowledged my birthday. So no, I don't think I'm being harsh. I think I'm finally being honest." I paid for my groceries and walked away, leaving her standing there looking like she wished she hadn't said anything. I felt a twinge of guilt for about 30 seconds, then remembered the truth. People who stay silent while you're being mistreated aren't neutral. They're complicit. Thanksgiving and Christmas came and went without a word from my family. I spent both with Claire's family, who welcomed me with open arms and genuine affection. Susan even gave me a small birthday gift when she learned my family had a habit of forgetting. "That's awful," she said, shaking her head. "No one should feel invisible on their birthday." It was such a simple statement, but it meant everything. Someone got it. Someone finally understood that it wasn't about gifts or attention. It was about being seen. In January, I got a call from an unknown number. Normally I'd ignore it, but something made me pick up. "Jack, it's Ryan." My stomach dropped. "How did you get this number?" "I got a new phone," he said quickly. "Listen, we need to talk. Mom and Dad aren't doing well. Mom cries all the time, Dad barely talks. You're tearing this family apart." I actually laughed. "I'm tearing the family apart? No, Ryan. I removed myself from a family that had already torn me apart." "That's not true. We've always been there for you. Name one time in the last 5 years you've been there for me without me asking first," I said. Silence. "Name one important thing in my life any of you have acknowledged unprompted." More silence. "Tell me one thing about my current life that doesn't involve you." "Jack, that's not fair," he said weakly. "No," I replied, voice steady. "It's completely fair. You want me to come back and pretend everything's fine, but you can't even answer the simplest questions about my life. You don't know me, Ryan. None of you do. You only know the version of me that exists to serve your needs," I said, voice steady but laced with years of exhaustion. "The one who shows up when you need advice, money, or someone to dump your problems on. But the real me, the me with goals, feelings, and a birthday you've forgotten 5 times, that person's been invisible to this family for years." "But we're family," Ryan insisted, his tone wavering. "No," I said quietly. "We're related. There's a difference. Family shows up. Family remembers. Family treats you like you matter even when it's not convenient. What we were was a dysfunctional group of people who shared DNA and turkey dinners." "I can't believe you're being so cold," he muttered. "I can't believe it took me this long to stop accepting crumbs of affection from people who never truly valued me." I shot back. "I'm not cold, Ryan. I'm finally warm. Because I'm not burning all my energy trying to earn love from people who were never going to give it freely." He hung up without another word. I blocked the new number before he could try again. When spring came, it brought a lightness I hadn't felt in years. I was thriving at work, my relationship with Claire was deepening, and I'd built a chosen family of people who actually cared. I hadn't realized how much emotional energy I'd wasted on my biological family until I stopped feeding that cycle. Then in July, Claire proposed. We'd talked about marriage before, but when she knelt down in the park where we'd had our first date, I still cried. For the first time in my life, someone was choosing me, openly, wholeheartedly. Someone was making me their priority. We decided on a small wedding the following October, just over a year away, surrounded by close friends and Claire's family. While planning, she asked gently, "Are you sure you don't want to invite them? It's your wedding." "That's exactly why I don't," I said. "This is supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I want to be surrounded by people who've proven they love me, Not people who might forget I exist halfway through dinner. Claire understood. She'd seen how much lighter and happier I'd become since cutting contact. She'd also seen firsthand how her family threw me a surprise birthday party last year. While mine posted photos of Ryan's Napa getaway, we sent out 35 invitations, simple, elegant, and filled only with names of people who mattered. Every one of them had shown up for me in real, tangible ways. 3 weeks later, an unknown number popped up on my phone. This time it was my dad. "Jack, your mother told me you're engaged. Congratulations." I was too stunned to hang up right away. "How did you find out?" "Your cousin Melissa saw it on Facebook before you blocked everyone," he said. "Jack, you can't seriously be getting married without your family there." "I am having family there," I said. "My chosen family. The ones who actually know me." "We care about you," he said quickly. "We've made mistakes, but we're still your parents. We deserve to be at your wedding." I laughed, but it wasn't amused. "Deserve? What exactly do you think you deserve? You forgot my birthday 5 years in a row. You've never once asked about my job, my apartment, or my life. You bought Ryan a $40,000 car on a random Saturday, but couldn't bother sending a text on my birthday. What part of that makes you think you deserve anything from me?" "We raised you," he said sharply. "You housed and fed a kid because the law required it. Raising me would have meant caring about who I was becoming. Haley got raised, I got managed." "That's not true," he protested. "And you know it." "Then tell me," I said. "What's my favorite color?" He went silent. "What's my middle name?" More silence. "What degree did I graduate with? Where do I work? What's my partner's name? When did I move into my new place?" "Jack, this is ridiculous," he snapped. "Is it? These are basic facts about your son's life, and you don't know a single one. But I bet you could tell me Ryan's favorite restaurant, what he's watching on Netflix, and exactly how much that car cost." He exhaled heavily. "We can learn. We can do better." "It's too late for that," I said. I needed parents who cared enough to already know these things, who didn't need a dramatic breakdown to realize they'd been neglecting me. I needed parents who remembered my birthday without being reminded. "We do love you." "Maybe," I said softly, "but not enough. Not consistently. And not in the ways that mattered. I'm done accepting love that comes with conditions." "So that's it? You're never going to talk to us again?" "I'm going to live my life surrounded by people who choose me every day. Not when it's convenient or when they feel guilty. If you'd wanted to be those people, you had 28 years to figure it out." I hung up and blocked another number. Our wedding day, October 10th, was everything I'd ever wanted. A small garden ceremony, golden leaves falling around us, laughter from every corner. Claire's family treated me like I'd always been one of them, and our friends filled the night with genuine joy. During his toast, her dad said something that hit me right in the heart. "When you marry someone, you're not just gaining a partner, you're gaining family." And we couldn't be happier to welcome Jack into ours. I cried, but for once they were tears of happiness. For the first time, I truly felt like I belonged somewhere. Our honeymoon in Italy was perfect, 2 weeks of peace, pasta, and love. When we got home, a stack of mail waited for us. Among it was an envelope addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Jack Porter. I smiled, expecting another congratulatory card from friends. But when I opened it, I froze. It was from my mother. The front showed a picture of a sunset, with the words "thinking of you." Inside, she'd written, "Dear Jack and Claire, congratulations on your marriage. We saw the pictures on Melissa's Facebook, and you looked beautiful," the card said. "We wanted to be there to celebrate with you. We love you and we're sorry for everything. We hope someday you'll find it in your heart to forgive us. Love, Mom and Dad." I handed it to Claire, and she wrapped her arms around me. "How do you feel?" she asked softly. "Sad," I admitted. "But not in the way you might think. I'm sad for them, because they missed their son's wedding by their own choices. I'm sad for the version of our relationship that could have existed if they'd been different people. But I'm not sad for me anymore. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." That was 18 months ago. I turned 29 last month, and my birthday was celebrated the way birthdays should be. Surrounded by love. My wife and our friends threw a small dinner, full of laughter and genuine joy. No forgotten calls, no hollow apologies, no waiting for people who never cared enough to show up. Just peace. Every now and then a card still appears, usually around the holidays or my birthday, but I don't open them. They go straight into the trash. I've heard through mutual relatives that Ryan still lives at home, bouncing between jobs, and that my parents are in couples therapy because my absence has apparently created tension between them. I feel no satisfaction about that, but no responsibility either. They made their choices, I made mine. People sometimes ask if I regret cutting them off, if I miss having parents. The answer is complicated. Do I miss having parents? Sure. But I never really had them in the way that mattered. What I had were people who shared my DNA and expected unconditional love in exchange for conditional care. Do I regret walking away? Not for a single second. The peace I've found, the self-respect I've built, and the love I've accepted from people who truly see me are worth infinitely more than any relationship built on guilt or false hope. I've learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop accepting treatment that makes you feel small. Family isn't always about blood. It's about choice, consistency, and respect. It's about showing up for the people who show up for you. My name is Jack Porter now, and I'm 29 years old. My birthday is October 15th, and it's celebrated by people who remember it because they care. I'm a senior financial analyst, I live in a beautiful apartment with my wife, and I'm happy. And honestly, that's a better ending than any reconciliation could ever have given me.